Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, and today I want to talk to you about how to care for autistic people and people with learning disabilities, and how to look after someone who is known to be clinically extremely vulnerable and shielding during this time. So I'm on the UK Gov website, and it says people with learning disabilities and autistic people are often at a genuinely higher risk of a respiratory illness. However, a few with very specific health conditions may be clinically defined as extremely vulnerable. The guidance on shielding and protecting the clinically extremely vulnerable provides full details on how to care for someone who falls into this category. The NHS in England is directly contacting people with these conditions to provide further advice. If you think the person you care for falls into one of these categories of the extremely clinically vulnerable and they have not received a letter or been contacted by their GP already, you should discuss their concerns with the GP. How to support your person through change. Changes in routine and care can be particularly stressful for people with a learning disability and or autism, and the measures that have been put in place during this outbreak we will be bringing additional challenges in best how to support and how to communicate with them. It is important that accessible information is provided to support the person that you care for to understand the outbreak and the measures that have been introduced. There may be a need for more considered solutions, especially as the person you care for may be anxious about the current situation. You may also need to consider how to manage behaviour that challenges, particularly if usual techniques are not appropriate or possible during this current outbreak. There are some steps that you can take and guidance you can follow to support the person you care through this challenge and change. The principles of respect and inclusivity as outlined in the ethical framework, provide useful considerations which will support your decision making and planning. Think about the things that can remain consistent. For example, whether it is possible to keep contact with their usual staff who provide support with certain tasks. Try to explain in certain terms why things are changing, emphasising what will remain normal and how long the change will likely be to last. Consider where you can support the person you care for to continue doing what they enjoy and what calms them. The guidance on mental health and well-being offers examples of activities that can be done at home. The Challenge and Behaviour Foundation has helpful resources, including a visual summary of what to do with the behaviour of the person you support changes or begins to become challenging. Link below in this article are some further easy read accessible information that you can click on to read to help you, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about my personal perspective of COVID-19 and what coronavirus means to me. As someone on the autism spectrum like myself, during this COVID-19 outbreak it's been quite hard on me. My emotions, my anxiety is quite high, and I've been feeling quite isolated because I'm not being used to being away from people. So for me, I've been feeling really isolated. My anxiety is just chronic. I feel quite emotional. My emotions are high and up and down all the time because I don't know how to control them. And because I'm used to being a social person around people all the time, being away from people has been really hard. Like not being able to cuddle people and go and see people and tell them that they're okay, and hugging them and having that time to be reassured and having that time to be supported and not isolated. Whereas usually being around my family really helps me bring me through my mental health struggles, and I don't feel so alone. But right now, having to be away from them and not talk to them is just really quite hard for me. I'm not used to doing this. So I've actually found it really hard being away socially from them, not just mentally, because they are my support network. They are the people that I reach out to when I'm feeling low and isolated. They're the people I reach out to when I'm having a panic or a wobble, and they usually bring me back to think, okay, Gemma, that's okay, you're going through this, you're fine. And whereas now I feel really quite low, I feel quite desperate, and I feel quite scared of how long this is going to be going on for. We're now in our 8th week in the UK of being socially distant and in lockdown, and it's just going week after week after week. Nothing seems to be changing. I don't see anything being lessened or eased so that we can do more things to go out, and it's really frustrating me because I don't like being locked upstairs all day. I don't like being told that I can't do certain stuff that I'm used to doing. And being out and being social is a big part of my routine. I'm used to being able to go outside. I'm used to being able to go where I need to go to help people. I'm used to being out in public training, making people aware about autism, how to best communicate with us. And there is strategies that you can do to help yourself during this period. Like for me, I do have some sensory toys with me. So I do have this one right here, which is a bracelet, which I do wear to help myself. And it's something that helps to self-stim me, self-calm me, make myself feel less stressed and less anxious. But again, there's things like that that can help you, things like fidget cubes. I will link some websites down in the video description so you can go and purchase items to help yourself. I will also link the Government UK links also down the bottom of this video. But I would sort of talk from more of a personal perspective. Lockdown has been really hard because a lot of autistic people and learning disability people do not know what this means for them, and it is very, very confusing. The UK government hasn't been very straightforward with us at all. They haven't made any of the information very accessible at all with what happens during this lockdown. They haven't made it very easy to understand what they're going on about and what the words mean. I think the UK government needs to adjust the language. It needs to be more easier understood. It needs to be more straightforward put, because this lockdown is really hard on people with disabilities and mental health. We are the group who are at risk. We are the people who find the words a struggle to put up with, and the language, it's not very disability friendly at all. And I've been reading through numerous website articles. The language is just totally confusing. The graphs are confusing. It's just the UK government needs to adapt just a little bit, just to make it easier for us to understand. And day after day after day, it's just multiple confusing messages. Just keep it short, keep it simple, make it so it's direct and easily understood, because it's not. And for people like us who go through multiple communication channels and struggle with communication at the best of times, this isn't helping. This is making our moods worse. This is making our anxiety worse. This is making our social distancing even more harder, because we are told we're not allowed to go out. We have to struggle once a day to go to the shops, or we are lacking motivation to do our everyday details. I'm trying to keep positive. I'm trying to keep my uploads coming. I'm trying to keep my Twitter feed up to date with things that I'm doing to show that I'm keeping busy. But lockdown isn't easy, guys. It really isn't. The motivation to do things is quite difficult for me, and it's something that I'm not used to, being separated from people. So during this lockdown, make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure you do things as routine as you can. I'm trying to keep my routine on track, but I am finding it increasingly difficult to do so. I am finding being in a different place quite difficult, because I'm not used to being at my dad's. I'm used to being at home. So I'm having to adjust to being in a different place, a different format, a different filming location. So yeah, try and keep everything as routine with autistic people as possible. Try and keep them so they're doing their daily routines at home, like their iPad or their schoolwork or their daily walk or eating their favourite foods. Make sure you have that in stock so that they don't panic about what they're going to be eating and how much of it they're going to be eating or drinking during the day. Make sure that you're able to get their supply for them. So that's going to be another thing. Food and drink are going to be a massive issue for people like me on the spectrum, because we like to eat and drink certain things, and not having that available is going to cause anxiety, it's going to cause stress, depression, it's going to cause people to panic on the spectrum. So make sure you've pre-planned all this in advance if you can, or if not, make sure the supermarket is aware you have special requests when it comes to food. They can try and help you. Also, the supermarkets need to make it more aware, more accessible as well, with the vulnerable people thing. So I think that's another area we need to target a bit more as well. But I hope you've kind of enjoyed this video about the UK government shielding and communication. Like I say, I will link the information, and I'm just going to explain what social distancing is as well. Social distancing sets out the restrictions in place during this COVID-19 outbreak and the circumstances in which you're allowed to leave your home. It is important that the person you care for understands why it's important to maintain a social distance and what might happen if they do not. However, if the person you care has a specific health condition which requires them to leave their home to maintain their good health, including that of reasonable specific travel beyond the local area, then they can do so. This can be where a person with a learning disability or autism requires specific exercise in an open space more than 2 to 3 times a day. Ideally, this is to be done in line with the care plan agreed with the medical professional. So yeah, that's a little bit more about what social distancing is. Yeah, so I'll leave it there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll link the links down below. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.